our guests, and hopefully everyone had good break and now back to. We continue our series of ServiceNow webinars, and just a brief information about us for the participants who have just joined. We are InfoPulse, international IT service provider, one of the largest IT companies in Eastern Europe with more than 2,000 professionals. Delivering our services to our customers in Europe Union, UK, and North America. We provide full scale of IT services, custom software development, enterprise application implementation, infrastructure management and operations. And today we are talking about ITSM and ServiceNow platform. And our ServiceNow team has more than 7 years experience with ServiceNow platform, developing and implementing solutions to our customers in Europe and North America. And our range of services related to ServiceNow includes IT service management, IT operation management, and IT asset management implementation, migration from other tools to ServiceNow, service portal development, different automation and orchestration based on ServiceNow, and many other that you can also see on this slide, and including mobile and custom modules development and so on. So the next topic is ITSM KPI reporting, and here we have Igor, our ITL expert. He will present best practices of our experience how to measure IT services quality and efficiency. And during this session, we will also show a technical solution made by our team that helps organization to measure IT services. There will be some live demo of this solution. So Igor, welcome. Now the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Welcome to our webinar, and now we will try to talk about mostly just a second. We will talk about how to measure quality and performance of an IT services. We will talk about best practices for setting up ITSM KPIs. We will look at the demo we prepared for this webinar, and we will look how it is in practice, could be implemented and could be delivered to any customers. And of course, we will have a question and answer session where you could ask any question concerning the topics we will describe. So the first one is how to measure quality and performance of an IT service. First of all, service is a means of delivering value to customers by facilitating outcomes that customers want to achieve without the ownership of specific costs and risks. It is some kind of a balance between what we deliver and the price we want for this service. Value is generated through the exchange of knowledge, information, goods, or services. Outcome is the result of carrying out an activity, following a process, or delivering an IT service, etc. And the cost is the amount of money spent on specific activity, IT service, or business unit. And it is very important that cost consists of real cost, money, and notational cost, people's time, and depreciation, of course. And the risk. Risk is a possible event that could cause harm or loss or affect the ability to achieve objectives. Service management. When we talk about service management, we could know that ITIL frame defines 4 dimensions that collectively are critical to the effective and efficient facilitation of value for customers and other stakeholders in the form of products and services. And they are organizations and people, information and technologies, value streams and processes, partners and suppliers. Best practicing for setting up ITSM KPIs. A KPI performance indicator, KPI, is a measurable value that demonstrates how effective a company is at achieving key business objectives. A KPI of a process shows how the process is being performed in terms of its effectiveness and efficiency. A KPI of a working team demonstrates how the working team performs its responsibilities within each process. And the very important remark that each KPI should be reviewed and adjusted for each organization, because different organizations, they have their own demands and expectations, they have their own requirements. Therefore, it is very important that KPIs are adjusted according to the company needs and requirements. Starting point. uh, uh, Different organizations, they are trying to start implementing ITSM processes, and when they discuss inside or with the consultancies about the first step, they have to look and to understand at the following points. What bottlenecks do you have in your daily work? What is making you daily or routine headache? What is coming to you first on each day schedule? Where is the highest risk of losing your profit? It means that the case could be very rare, very seldom. However, this case will be very expensive for your organization. That's why it is very important to look at the most highest risks of losing your profit. What is the level of maturity of the organization? It means that different organizations, they have their own level of maturity, and even this two different organizations are working in the same sphere, in the same business, they have the different level of maturity, and some processes which will be very helpful for one organization could be useless for another one. And the meaning of each process or each practice implemented is to be reviewed according to the level of maturity of the organization. What will be your quick win? It is very important to understand that if you are starting the implementation of IT processes, it's better to not start with something which will be valuable for you after 5 years, for example. It's better to implement some processes or some solutions which will be very useful for your organization in the nearest future. The quick win will be some kind of additional motivation for whole your organization for further implementation, for further development, and for further maturity growing. Basic ITIL processes. We understand that regardless of the industry segment and a focus market, different organizations usually start with some processes which are most vital for their organizations, and the most popular, the most frequent asked processes are incident management, request management, and change management. If we are looking at the results of different forums, different conferences, and different successful implementations, we can see that all organizations are mostly implement these three processes at the first stage, which allows to every organization develop further and to get more values for their further growing. We've implemented a dashboard with KPIs, how we do see them, and we can provide this kind of dashboard with KPIs for different customers. And this dashboard, which we designed and we will look at, on our later stage. This dashboard has three types of information. The first one is main KPIs, figures, percentages, pies, of each KPI parameter. The speed scale is mostly useful for the top management board. This speed scale shows the overall health of the process for the moment, and top management is not interested in drill down and looking at each incident or each change or each request, or even in each problem. It wants to know if the overall health of the process is good or not. And we are providing this kind of solution in our package. The third one is statistics. These diagrams with the scale of the last 7 calendar days, even month or more, 1 year, etc. And it could be very useful for analysis, for looking and finding the trends. What is happening with your process? How it is living? Is it going worse or is it going better? And what is happening overall with all your processes, tickets, etc., etc. So dashboard for incident management. When we are talking about dashboard with KPIs, speed scale, and statistics, for incident management, we are focused on the main parameters of the process. They are SLA breached incidents, security incidents, incidents with priority 1, and incidents in backlog. All these parameters are very important to understand what is happening with the incidents raised by customers and how we are handling them. SLR breach incidents are very important as the main KPI of the process at all, and it shows how fast we repair the situation, we cover all the issues, and how fast we handle all these issues, and we restore the normal working atmosphere. Also, the security incidents. These incidents could be very seldom, but as we already talked, that security incidents could be as a result of the huge financial loss, and that could be very important. Incident with priority 1, different organizations, they have their own major incident procedure implemented, which allows them to handle these kind of incidents with priority 1 within the specific procedure. And incident with priority 1 shows that something happened which impacts all the organization, all the employees. It is a huge disaster for the organization, and it should be solved as soon as possible. And incidents in backlogs, it shows how many incidents do we have still in the backlog, and these incidents, they require involvement from different teams, and we need to look at our resources, how to share these resources, how to use our resources for solving these incidents. Request management. Dashboard with KPIs, speed scales, and statistic is focused on the main parameters of the request management, and they are SLR breached in requests, reopen requests, and request in a backlog. We can understand that request is something that is not so urgent as incident, of course. However, for the organization, it could be also critical to provide all the available services as soon as possible, and to provide all the available services to newcomers, to new staff, or to provide the available services of the organization to any staff or any customer according to the SLAs. Change management. When we are talking about change management, we are looking at post-implementation review, called also peer report. and we have to understand the balance between normal and standard changes, emergency changes to be taken into the focus as well, and approvals for changes. So what what we are thinking about when we are talking about post-implementation review, the change management has the main KPI, which could be phrased as to mitigate or to minimize any negative effect of any implemented change in the organization. So in this case, we have this kind of peer post-implementation review as the main parameter here, and it shows all the changes which were implemented not successfully or rolled back, or the changes even were implemented successfully but were the reasons for raising a new incidents for the customers. Normal and standard changes. If we have too many normal changes, it means that we have to standardize our approach in working with the request for changes. Standard change requires less analysis from the IT staff. That's why it is very important to use our human resources, our specialists efficiently, and to not use all the changes as a normal, but to have some kind of a standard templates for different kind of changes, and these will save a lot of time for your staff. Emergency changes. It is very important to look at what is happening with your organization, as emergency change appears when you have some very hot situation in your organization, and which has to be solved as soon as possible. Approval for changes. We will look a little bit later the sequence of what is happening and how we can solve this issue. However, approval for changes is very important to know that our changes are not pending for weeks or months just because some responsible people do not have a time to look and approve your change, and that could be also a bottleneck for the process. KPIs for working teams. When we are talking about KPIs for working teams, we can understand that each team has its own responsibility within each process, and it has its own part and its own value provided within each process. So KPIs for teams involved in performing activities in processes should be linked to the KPIs of the processes. Teams involved in different processes will have KPIs for each of them. Here you could see some example that first line support has KPIs for incident management and request management. And at the same time, the second line support has their own KPIs for incident and request, and also change management, because change management is mostly handled by second line support. Leave demo. Now I'll show you the demo, how we prepared and implemented our dashboard, and we will discuss some points there as well. So here is our main dashboard with the KPIs for the processes, as we discussed already: incident management, request management, change management. On the left side, you could see the speed scales as overall health of each process. And this speed scale has its own logic for calculating. So these numbers are showing the penalty points for each process. If we have less than 30 penalty points, it is green. It means that it is mostly under the control. If we have between 30 and 70, it is orange or yellow, and it shows that the process needs some additional attention from the management level. And if we have penalty points more than 70, it means and it colors red, and it means that immediate involvement from the management is required. It could be that some additional resources are provided for this process, like here we can see that 98 penalty points for incident management or 78 penalty points for the change management. Meanwhile, we have only 29 penalty points for request management, etc., etc. And we know that for each process, the penalty points are calculating according to their own calculation logic. Also, we can see here the historical view of the penalty points for each process as well, and we can say that okay, since 18th of November till since 17th of November till 18th of November, something happened which increased the penalty points overall scale from 91 to 98. For request management, it was the same, nothing was changed. For the change management, it was a little bit improvement here, but it was some difficulties here again, etc., etc. Then for more details, we can drill down for each process separately, and we can see, for example, incident management. For the incident management, we can see what are the main calculations, and here we could see that the incident management has its own calculations based on the response speed scale and resolution speed scale. Even each of them is only yellow one, but in the total they are delivering 98% as a red one. It is showing that each one is very important to decrease the penalties, and only working in each separately topic we can improve the situation overall. Here we can see the pie with the number of open incidents, and we can see them by states, and also we can see them by assignment group. You see each assignment group and the number of incidents per assignment group. We can see the breakdown by category of incident: user workplace, software, hardware, network, etc. And we can see the breakdown by priorities. So here we can see that we have 5 levels of priorities, and how many incidents on each priority level do we have. Then we can see that incident statistics KPIs, and for example, we have 34 open incidents, and that means that just now we need some resources to make sure that all the incidents are assigned and handled accordingly. New incidents, what is the difference between these two parameters? This shows open incidents in our backlog, and this figure shows how many incidents were opened just today, recently. This calculation starts from the midnight and till now. Reopen incidents, it means that one customer didn't agree with our solution provided, and the customer asked to reopen and to look at the issue again, and our solution didn't help to the customer. The last priority one incident happened, for example, here 161 hours ago. That means that last 161 hours were more or less smooth for the company, and there was no any incident which involved or impacted whole organization. A priority one open incidents, we can say that 7 incidents out of 34 were with priority one, and that is why here we have scale with 43% of priority one incidents SLA breach. Here we can see also open security incidents. Out of 34, we have 2 incidents as a security one defined. And SLA breached incidents, we have 14 incidents with SLA breaches. Pending incidents, this also shows that 3 incidents are waiting for some clarifications or additional information from customers. And until we have this information, we are not able to continue our analysis and investigation. So here we have also speed scales for each parameter, and it also helps to understand the overall situation, what is happening here. Incident detail statistics. Here we can see the open incidents, priority one, and the historical overview of what is happening last 7 days, security incidents, reopen incidents, new incidents. For example, here we can see that there was some less number of new incidents, then it was growing up again. Pending incidents and open incidents 34 with the average age. Here we can see that also the average age of whole opened incidents from the historical perspective as well. Then if we go to the SLA breached incidents details tab, we can see how many incidents with priority one have breached SLAs, and here we can see that 3 incidents with priority one are breached, and one of them was breached on the point of response SLA, and 2 of them were breached on the resolution SLA. Totally, we have 3 breached incidents, and we know that service desk has something to be taken and for improvement, and the resolution should be also handled. Here we can see that 2 SLA breaches for incident for security incidents, and also SLA breached incidents. We have 14 SLA breached incidents in overall, including priority one and security incidents. The overall picture is here. So also we have to see, by the way, I have to explain one more figure here, that if we are looking at the number of overall SLA breached, we have 14, and we have 2 and 12 here, which means that 2 incidents, they have response SLA breached, and 12 resolution SLA breached. But there could be a reason that here we could have 2 and for example 13, and the overall number of SLA breached incidents will be 14 again, because one incident could be breached together in response SLA and resolution SLA. Incident statistic reporting. Here we see that we can look at the historical overview, what was happening during 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, year to date, etc. And it shows the trend, how our progress was within this process. And we can see different parameters here also covered by the historical statistics. For example, closed incidents per day, it was 7 incidents on November 13, and it was only 2 incidents today. But again, it is not the evening yet. SLA breach risks. Talking about SLA breaches, we have to understand how we can be proactive and what measures could be taken to avoid the SLA breaches. That is why we have an additional tab, SLA breach risks, where we can see how many incidents are not breached yet, however, they could be breached. For example, we have one risky of resolution SLA breach for priority one incident. It means that if we do not focus our attention on this incident, it could be breached very soon, and uh, these will be affected to the uh, customer satisfaction. If we look at the top and middle management, I would say that this top with risks is more useful for the middle management to look at the possibilities, how we can keep the situation and do not have more SLA breaches in the nearest future, how we can not to decrease the customer satisfaction, not to make the situation worse. Um, and if we are talking about top management, the top management is mostly interested in these speed scales. Then let us look at the request management. Request management also has its own KPIs, and the request management has also some statistics, some figures like open requests, how many open requests do we have. We can change the breakdown per priorities, per assignment group. Everything is very important for different leaders of each team. And here, for example, we have one assignment group open space, another assignment group help desk, and we have some groups, some tickets which are not assigned to any groups. But for each leader of a team, it is very important to see all the statistics, how their teams are working. So if you are looking at the request statistics, we can see the following parameters here: number of open requests, number of new requests, as I explained already. This calculation is starting from the midnight. How many requests do we have in pending state? So two requests are pending for customer clarifications, and how many requests are overdue already. In the ServiceNow system, this overdue for requests is used as SLA parameter. It means that we do not need to calculate resolution and response SLRs, but customers, they want to have the service provided within some period, not later than, for example, 3 days. Okay, this is the SLR for the requests. Number of open requests during last week, during last month, excluding last week, during 1 year, excluding last month, and number of reopen requests. Here we can see the speed scales of how many pending requests do we have, 25%, which means that we have one pending request. I do not see it here. We have 25 pending requests from the whole number of open requests, and overdue requests. This is showing how many requests they are already breached in SLA parameters. Also, statistic reportings for the request management, it is implemented here again from the historical perspectives, and here we can see how many requests were opened per day, what was the average age of open requests, and we can look at the statistics from with a different scale, year to date, 1 month, etc., etc. All this is helpful for the cases where we try to analyze the trends and what happened during last month, last week, last year, what is happening and how we can work there to improve the situation more. Change management. Change management is also a very specific one, as it was already explained by Vladimir during our previous session. And here we can see two important scales: change management processes with all the penalty points and number of changes in authorized state. As you could see, we can see it here by state, breakdown by state. We can see that 55%, the huge percentage of all the changes, are waiting for the authorization from the CAP, Change Advisory Board. And that is why it could be a bottleneck in different organizations where the Change Advisory Board is not organized properly. So here we can see the different states of the number of changes on each state, etc., etc. So we can look at the type of changes. For example, we have 4 standard changes out of the 79 changes registered. It is also very important to look at, and if you see that 75 normal changes are registered and only 4 standard changes are registered, it means that 75 changes they will need a very careful, a very deep involvement for analysis, for planning, for consulting, etc., etc. And that is also a way for continual service improvement, as it was also mentioned by Vladimir half an hour ago, that we could implement some standard templates for reducing the number of normal changes and save a lot of time for analysis and planning of the changes by implementing these standard templates within the change management process. Change statistics. Number of open changes. Here you could see the number of open changes, 79, and we can see four changes out of 79 are standard changes, and 75 are normal changes, and a number of new changes which were registered today is 0, means that today we didn't have any new registered request for change. Number of closed changes during today, 4, and closed standard changes, 1, normal changes, 3, and it shows that 1 change was included into peer report post-implementation review. It means that there were some issues during the implementation of change, and that is why we will need to pay our attention to that change, what happened during the planning. It could be that not all the aspects were planned accordingly, and we have to change, we have to adjust our changes, our procedures for avoiding this situation in future. And number of open changes in authorized is 55. Also, change statistic reporting, it is also allows us to look at each parameter from the historical perspectives and to look what is happening, a number of approved changes. Here you could see, for example, that CAB didn't authorize the same number of changes last few days, and there could be that we have to look at the change advisory board procedures to improve this situation. And different parameters, they show different figures as well, and it could be very useful for further improvement. Also, we have to understand that in our service, we've provided possibility of mailing the reports of each statistic, and that means that we can organize and we can configure the proper mails to be sent to each manager. For example, top management, they do not want to look at the dashboard and to log in to see these figures, list some parameters, etc. But some managers, they are interested in looking at some specific figures, some parameters, and they want to receive these figures by email. So we can set up, and we already have this kind of service where we can provide by email by, for example, 9 o'clock in the morning, specific figures to the management board, and that could be also a solution for the top management. So now we are coming to our questions and answers session. If you have any, please ask.
Thank you, Igor, for really good intro to the ITSM KPIs and showing the demo. It was really interesting to see. Hope our audience shared the same. So let's check the questions. And yeah, we have a couple of questions. And the first question is, can you describe how it's better to calculate number of open emergency changes?
Yes, thank you for the question. Emergency changes are very specific ones, and according to ITIL recommendations, emergency changes could be registered in the situation where the server, for example, is down, and there is no time for bureaucracy for registering the ticket, to plan proper actions, and these server should be up back. Some changes are to be applied just immediately, and in this case the IT administrator could just have a phone call, a short discussion, and a short approval from the middle management or top management about the situation, just a voice approval, and then implement the necessary change, and to register emergency change within 24 hours after the situation was solved and change was implemented. So it also a very tricky one, I mean, that this type of change, and we could see different situations where we have a huge number of emergency changes. It could be, for example, 100 emergency changes per month. So this kind of situation could, should show us that it could be that the organization itself has to plan more carefully all the changes, or IT specialists are not planning their changes accordingly, and they just know about the change is needed, but they do not want to register, to go to the CAB, etc., etc., and then they register it as emergency without proper planning. But that will be very critical for the organization. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Igor, for really detailed answer. The next question that we have from the audience said that in our organization, request management implemented without SLA. What is the best practice? Should any KPIs should be implemented in this case?
Thank you for the question. Request management is not necessarily to be implemented with SLAs. And it is true that in some organizations, SLAs are not applicable for the request management. So in this case, we have at least two very important focuses to be taken. And one of them is reopened requests. This means that the quality of our service providing is to be on the level where customers are not disagreeing of our results and they do not reopen our requests. The second one is complaints. So when we have a complaint, it means that customers, they have some opinion that we do not provide proper services. Complaints are the specific type of requests, and they could be taken as specific KPIs for showing that our IT services are provided without any complaints from the customer side. So these two points could be taken as the main focus if we do not have SLAs for the request management.
Okay, good. And one more question is one of our guests asking how the response and resolution SLA are defined and calculated, and I guess that's the question related to our solution, how we calculate it in the response and resolution SLA in the in our solution that you have shown.
Yeah, thank you for the question. First of all, we can understand that customer is more interested in the final solution. They, in some cases, they do not need to know that the ticket is just on some stages, was handled or not, etc., etc. They are saying, for example, that within 24 hours the incident should be solved. So in this case, of course, the overall SLA is showing how we as organization is working for them. However, there are a lot of organizations which are asking specific settings that they know that the ticket was handled already by the responsible team and the ticket is not on hold until the last hour, for example. Yes. So in this case, we have response and resolution SLAs as a breakdown of the overall SLA, and response SLA means that the ticket was registered, and this from that time the response SLA is starting calculation, and when the ticket is handled by the responsible team, it is the end of the response SLA. It shows that the ticket was handled in time and was not just pending for the last moment. And the resolution SLA means that how much time the responsible team needs for solving the issue, for repairing breakdowns.
Good. Thank you for the answers. We don't have more questions. So I think we can conclude this part, and yeah. And if anyone from the audience is interested to know more about our ready-to-use reporting solution, or you are interested to implement reporting solution regarding your ITSM, or you would like to adjust, or you wouldn't want to have any consultancy from us, just let us know, and we can set up a session or call with you, and we'll be happy to discuss.